You're listening to the Bulldog Insider Podcast, brought to you by Essentia Health.
It only takes one step, twist, or crunch to know something doesn't feel right. Essentia Health's orthopedic and sports medicine team gets you back to doing what you love with commitment, resilience, intention. We're here to keep you moving forward. Visit essentiahealth.org to learn more about orthopedics and sports medicine, like nowhere else.
Hello and welcome to the Bulldog Insider Podcast, brought to you by Essentia Health. I'm your host, Matt Wellens, the Bulldogs hockey beat reporter at the Duluth News Tribune.
And I'm Zach Schneider, the television voice of UMD Hockey and My Nine Sports.
This week on the podcast, we're joined by the captain of the Bulldogs women's hockey team. Welcome to the podcast for the first time, and this is awful that it's taken this long for us to get her out here, as I pointed out before the show. Finally, welcome to the podcast, Mannon McMahon.
Yeah, thanks for finally having me. Jeez.
Yeah, what the heck? Who schedules these guests?
I thought you guys didn't like me over here.
We're going to blame it on that I probably tried to get you on at some point, and you actually have impressed legit class schedules. So let's just blame it on
For sure,
that.
always busy.
The ironic part is going to be this first line of questioning is that you've been around for a while, and this is your first time on the podcast. So this is going to be an awkward segue into the first thing that Matt wants to talk about.
It's taken me forever to. I'm sorry, man, and
It's okay.
that we haven't gotten you on since then. The reason we have you on this week, I've had you earmarked for this week now. The reason it's taken you this long, this season to get you on, is I've had you earmarked, and this is a stat I've been following all year, but I'm really hoping I don't jinx it right now. I was partially afraid to do this episode this week. I almost made you wait another week. But here we go. I'm hopefully not jinxing anything. You've played 164 straight games going into this weekend, which is tied for second all time with Ashton Bell. On Friday, you can tie Anna Klein's run of 165 straight games, and you could break that school record on Saturday. Are you aware of this record at all?
I didn't realize it was that many games, but I knew it was around. I knew it was a possibility, I guess. But
you knew the record was out there.
Yeah.
This is the straight games record. You're also 4 games away from tying Naomi Rogge's record of 168 career games played at UMD. You would be the Iron Woman, as well as, I don't know what the other title, we're just going to call her the Iron Woman. Most games as a Bulldog, most consecutive games as a Bulldog. What is that? What do those records mean to you? Those are impressive records.
Yeah, wow. Well, first of all, I'm just happy that I was able to stay healthy. It's definitely hard to do these days, especially with how physical and talented our league is. I feel like you always hear about injuries and stuff. So I'm thankful for that first and foremost. But I think just every time that I'm able to put on a Bulldog jersey is so special and is something that I'm definitely proud of and that I don't take for granted or take lightly. So the fact that I've got to do that 160 something times is pretty cool and pretty amazing. And I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, it took Rogge 6 years to get the record. I hate to even say 6 years, and I hate to even say for you 5 years, because you go back and look at, you only played 19 games. That would have been your sophomore year, I believe it was. Yeah, 19 games your sophomore year. So it's almost it's not even half a season. It's more 4+ seasons or whatever you're playing because of the pandemic. What does it take to stay healthy and be playing at a level to be in the lineup every day as well, which is something you've done since you got here?
Yeah, I think that honestly, we just have amazing support staff at the rink, obviously with Suze and then with Kristen and at one point Alyssa. I've just had so many helpful hands. Even when I do have a small little thing nagging me, a paper cut or something, they welcome me in with open arms into the treatment room. So so thankful for them. I definitely attribute a lot of that to them. And then obviously our coaches too. I think the mental part plays such a big part in today's game, and they've allowed me to stay mentally healthy too. Just always welcoming me into their office with open arms, and obviously my teammates too, just giving me the energy and everything that I need to come to the rink and want to be there every single day, no matter how hard it is sometimes. And yeah, just a great support staff all around at Amsoil.
Have you had any close calls in this run yet where you weren't sure if you would be in the lineup or anything?
So this is actually a crazy story, but last year, it was right before the national tournament. We were leaving to go to Ritter on that Thursday because we played on Friday. And that Wednesday night, I went to bed, and around midnight, I woke up and was throwing up from about midnight until 6 a.m. And I knew that we were leaving that morning, and I was like, there's no way I can get on a bus right now. Like, I've been puking for hours and hours and hours, and luckily, like, my roommates, like, gathered my things for me. Clara, Nina, and Hannah gathered my things for me, brought me down to the rink. Suze ended up driving me from Amsoil to Ritter, and I was like throwing up in the back of her Jeep Grand Cherokee. And
she's got kids. It's okay.
Yeah,
you're probably not the first to puke in the back of there.
She's seen it all. Yeah, got to Minneapolis and was literally laying in bed from the moment I got there until the moment we played Clarkson, and threw a piece of toast in my system and had some applesauce and hopped on the ice. But I think that was the closest call. No injuries, knock on wood. But yeah.
How do you get through a game like that with the flu? Because I've been in the spot you have, and I've decided not to. Just like you not getting on the bus, I'm sure all your teammates are very thankful you didn't ride on the bus down with them to Ritter that day, even though it's one of your shorter bus trips. Like, I've skipped series, I've skipped games, not gone to the rink when I'm like puking and such like that. How do you play a hockey game like that?
Yeah.
With just like a piece of toast in your
Yeah. I mean, it was the national tournament. I feel like just like any type of game, I think I would have gone up and gone to the rink that day. But obviously, like, a little extra motivation playing in the national tournament, playing for our season. And I just remember, like, everyone kind of, like, let me do my thing. Like, they were being supportive and being so helpful as it was. And I remember the first time I saw any of my teammates that weekend was at pregame video. And they were all like, thank God you're alive. Like, it was so funny. But, yeah, definitely a little extra motivation with it being the national tournament.
These are two records that Matt laid out that are very unlikely, I would say, going forward to be broken. Because the COVID year is going to go away soon. You're not going to have, if people are playing a fifth year, it's going to be because they took some sort of red shirt. So this is a record that I think will likely be yours if you're able to get it.
Nina and Clara might be able to take a run at it.
Yeah, they might be able to next year.
I think they'd have to share
They're
it.
the last. They're going to be the last ones
those
that
would be the last, yeah. Because what's benefited you as well, it's not just, in the record books, unfortunately, there'll be a little asterisk that says because you played 5 years, but you guys have gone since you've been here deep playoff runs as well.
And how many games have you missed? It's not many.
No, she hasn't missed any games.
You haven't missed any.
She has not missed a game since being at UMD. She was, as a freshman, in the lineup on day one, and I think the only other people on the roster right now that could say that would be Nina Jope-Smith and Clara Van Weeren, assuming they're both. They said on the podcast earlier this year that they're coming back for fifth years. Nina has no choice because she decided to switch majors apparently halfway through her year, so she's a student no matter what, I guess, next year. But yeah, as Zach said, depending what happens next year with the team, playoff run this year, you could stack on. The longer the playoff run you go on, the harder you make it for those two next year. Like as Zach was saying, this is a record that could stand the test of time. Yeah,
wow. I guess I didn't realize that till now. That's pretty cool.
When you compare it to the first time that you put on the Bulldog uniform, your first game, and now you're talking about being on the verge of being, the all-time games played leader in a program with so much history. Can you compare where you sit today to where you were now almost 5 years ago playing your first game at UMD?
Yeah, that's a cool question. I feel like there was so much buildup to finally put that jersey on for the first time. Like, I committed here when I was like freshman, sophomore in high school. To finally like be where I am now, I think is just like a testament to like all the time and work that has been put in like by my coaches and by my teammates. Like I said, like every single time I put on that jersey, like it's something special. And every single time I do put on that jersey, like it's just the game in front of me that we're worrying about, and each game has been so different, so cool. I mean, sometimes when I put that jersey on, it's for just a Friday game. Sometimes when I put that jersey on, it's for a national championship. It's for playoffs, like whatever it is. And each time is so special and cool. But yeah, these last couple like weekends here, I guess each game is so special, so important. I mean, we're playing St. Cloud this weekend, obviously huge points on the line. Minnesota, always like a good time playing at Ritter too, but just like going forward, definitely going to be a special run this year, and I'm just looking forward to continuing to put that jersey on for what we're able to do as a team.
This is always my favorite question to ask players as they get towards the end of their Bulldog careers here, but do you remember like that first day as a Bulldog? Not that first game, but like the first day you got to Duluth, went into Amsoil, met your roommates, everything like that. Do you remember that first day?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was, I mean, it's funny now looking back, like my two roommates that I did have are no longer here. But yeah, there's a lot of funny moments and memories from that first day. I think it was just like, you think you're ready for it, like, and no matter how much you prepare on and off the ice, you're really just not. And then you get here and it's like, wow, like these 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds, like whatever they are a lot stronger, a lot faster. But yeah, those were some stressful days probably.
Who were your roommates when you first got here, freshman year?
Yeah, Taylor Stewart, okay. Cassie Bettenall, and then just a random. Just a random.
Yeah. You were part of a super small freshman class that year, and you're the last one left. Like, what do you remember about going into Amsoil that first time?
I don't know that I remember going into Amsoil for the first time, but I do remember getting to my stall. They had all of that, like the new gear, like folded up, ready to go. Under my nameplate that was finally up.
Hockey Christmas, essentially, right?
Literally. And I think I was looking forward to that day more than anything. And I think I wore those clothes that I got for like a week straight, just like so proud to be wearing it. But yeah, I remember like looking up and seeing my nameplate, like Mannon McMahon from Maple Grove, Minnesota. And that was a special moment. And then like our first practice, like captain's practice that day was super memorable too.
So this weekend, you're going to play St. Cloud and you're going to go through senior day on Saturday. Did you go through that ceremony last year?
No, I did not.
Okay. So you knew at that point you were planning to come back and decided not to go through it.
Correct.
Okay. So this will be the first time that you experience the senior day moment. And the hope is that you'll get to play another series. If you take significant points off of St. Cloud this weekend, you'll clinch that up this weekend where you get to play more home games in the playoffs. But your last regular season games this weekend, what do you expect the emotions to be like on Saturday afternoon?
I think I'm just going to be too excited or like just too focused on the game just because they are such huge points on the line for us. I feel like once I see like my parents and my brothers on the ice after the game, like that's when it'll hit me. But I definitely will be a lot less emotional since this is my fifth year. I think if it ended after 4, it would be tough. But I mean, I've had so many great memories here, and like obviously it's going to be tough leaving, but I'm just so grateful to even be here where I am right now thanks to COVID. So
is 5 years enough of college? Is that what you're saying?
No,
saying
never
right
enough.
Okay.
I'll stay here forever.
You do the Rogie 6 years? If
6, 7, 8, whatever.
Okay. I'd be one of those people like after 4 years I was done with college and such, but you're obviously having a better time and experience than I had. What originally brought you to UMD? You mentioned that was a long time ago that you committed. You're from an era of recruits that before they changed the rules and you had to wait till, after your sophomore year, before your junior year, you got to, do you remember what age you even were? I was trying to look it up and I couldn't find your commitment, which is what I've had with some of the older players.
Yeah, I think I was 16.
You were 16.
15 or 16, yeah.
Okay. What originally brought you to UMD? Take us through that recruitment process back in Maple Grove, if you can remember back that far.
I grew up wanting to either be a hockey or a soccer player, and that was like a big decision for a while, as I didn't know like which route I wanted to go. The hockey recruitment process starts a lot earlier than the soccer one, and once I was like going through that, I think that's when I was like, okay, like I have a lot of opportunity in hockey. Like, I'm going to stick with hockey. And I liked hockey way more than soccer anyways. But I knew I wanted to stay within the WCHA. Obviously, such a good league. Didn't want to go out east. And then from that, I think I knew I wanted to be on a winning team. I wanted to be able to win a national championship in my time at college. So that narrowed it down a little bit too. But ultimately, I fell in love with the city of Duluth, and then also the coaches. I remember my mom was like, man, and like, you can't pick a school just because of the coaches. Oddly enough, I was also talking to Dartmouth, loved Laura Schuler there. And I remember calling Schuler and telling her that I was going to UMD with tears in my eyes, like crying to her. And she's like, it's okay, man. And like, that's a great decision for you. Like, she used to coach there, obviously. And then she ended up coming here, so it worked out perfectly. But yeah, I loved the coaches, loved the city, and I wanted to win a national championship too.
Mom was trying to stress that you choose a school based on academics, or?
Yeah, academics, and just like not based on possible temporary things, because coaches can obviously leave and whatnot.
No, that's good advice from Mom, because Moore had only been here for what, 4 or 5 years maybe at that point. Well, I guess when you were being recruited, she had only been here for a couple of years at that point. Is that a little nerve-wracking at all? Like, a coach hasn't been there long term, like committing that far out when you were, 16, not maybe knowing who was going to be at, running the program at that time, or?
I don't think that was really a thought for me, which is why my mom had to remind me. But yeah, I knew like coach was just very confident, so it wasn't really like a thought in my head, which is maybe why my mom had to remind me a little bit. But yeah, obviously, like, this is a business too at the end of the day, and like, people come and go. But I'm very lucky, very fortunate that she hasn't left. So yeah.
We mentioned some former classmates of yours, Taylor Stewart and Cass Bettenall, they transferred out. And I think that's probably the biggest change. Like, I think what's interesting with players like you that have been here 5 years is it's amazing how much college athletics can change in 5 years. You got here before the pandemic, went through that, but I still think the transfer portal is kind of the biggest thing since you've been here. For you, what's kept you a Bulldog all 5 years? Because you've seen a lot of teammates now come and go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an easy question. I would never consider leaving. I think that this program is so special, and one of the most special in the NCAA, with how hard we work, but also how much we care. I mean, on any given day, like, you watch a practice, like, we're going at each other, like, we can be yelling at each other, and then at the end of a rep, we're like, that was awesome, like, good battle, like, stuff like that. And that's ultimately what I want as a hockey player. I want people to push me, but I also want good relationships and good bonds, and that's what I have here. Also love this city, like, love being able to go swim. Like, I love campus, and I love the athletic department. Just everything about it has been great. Like I mentioned, what's brought me here were the coaches, and they've developed me into the player that I am now, which has opened a lot of doors for me. So I'm very thankful for that too. But yeah, I could go on and on. It was never a question in my mind whether to enter the transfer portal, even though it is a popular thing. But yeah, I don't regret that decision either.
So you're not the first to say that UMD is unique, or in terms of the way that you work at practice, the way that you approach the game and the preparation to the weekends and things like that. But so my first question is, when you got here as a freshman, was that already your mindset, or was that something that came with coming to UMD? And for this year's freshmen or younger players that are around now, is that something that you have to teach them, or are the coaches really good about finding players that already kind of exists, like that culture? Is that something that has to be taught to some of the younger players?
Yeah, for sure. I think when you're being recruited by coach, obviously, like, she's handpicking the type of player and person, and she has that in mind when she is recruiting. But when I came in as a freshman, I mean, I remember just kind of being a little shocked with, like, how people were kind of like yelling at each other on the ice, like how they were digging into each other in one-on-one battles. Like, that's just something you don't see in high school hockey. And so when I got here as a freshman, I was like, whoa, like this is crazy, but like also this is awesome. And I kind of jumped into that. And I think the first few weeks, it's like always a mentality like, okay, we got to kind of let the freshmen know what's up. Like I remember me and Claire were like, we should like get into a brawl at practice today. Like that would be awesome to show the freshmen like how we do it. But yeah, and because coach does pick out those type of people and players, they also jump into it head first too. So it's awesome. And we have great battles at practice, but at the end of it, we're all best friends. So
she's doing the same thing, and the staff is doing the same thing in the transfer portal, but is it different with players who have already played at another college program that maybe don't have the same type of preparation? So the Reese Hunts, the Olivia Wallines who come in from somewhere else, is that kind of here's how we do things here type of conversation at the beginning too?
Yeah, I definitely think that they go through a little bit of shock the first couple practices too. Even like how much we like just stress like the little things, like giving it your all every single rep, like stopping on pucks, like playing out your rebounds, like stuff like that. Like we have to remind them of like those little details, but like once we do, it's pretty easy to catch on. And then like the battling and stuff, like I think they go through the shock of that, and but ultimately like that's what they're here for too, and they know that we're that type of program and have that culture.
We talked about, classmates leaving, but what's it been like these past few years, going back to Elizabeth Giguere coming in, Blanca Skidova, and then this year you got Reese and Liv Wallin and Paula Bergstrom. What's it been like seeing players from other programs come in? And it's helpful that Paula made sure you're not the old woman on the team. Spared you those jokes that other fifth-year seniors have had over the years as well. I mean, for you, it's got to be nice to have this veteran presence around after so many of your classmates left.
Yeah, for sure. It's been, obviously the transfer portal has been great to us. We've gotten some amazing players, but also just like amazing people. And those people have turned out to be some of my best friends too. So no matter where they come from or when they come in, like we welcome them with open arms. And whenever they get here, it's always like, shoot, like I wish I would have came sooner. Like obviously like Reese and Paula are only here for a short amount of time, same with Liv, and I think that they feel that too. And then Giguere, obviously just the fifth year, just like it's so funny, like when they do get here, they just wish that they had more time, and we wish we had more time with them. But yeah, we love the transfer portal sometimes, like it's great to us, and we definitely have had our good luck with them.
You were one of the players, and the other players that Matt mentioned came to UMD from different leagues, different spots around the country, but Reese came from the WCHA and was a player that you and the other older players, the veterans, had a lot of battles with over the years, but she's been so good this year. What has clicked with her, and why does she fit in so well from her time at Bemidji when I've said this on the broadcast all year, she was a thorn in your side for 4 years, and now to watch her doing it in Duluth for your team has got to feel pretty dang good. And she's obviously scoring a lot of goals, but she seems to have fit right in with the culture that you are talking about with UMD.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the first time we played Reese, obviously we were both freshmen on teams. And back then, I mean, I remember we had a lot of games against Bemidji. We ended up playing 3 playoff games against them that year. But yeah, Reese Hunt is always a name that I've known, I guess, in bad ways in the beginning and great ways now. But yeah, she fit right in. I think we kind of knew that for the time that we did meet her, like even this summer, like conversations and stuff. And then obviously, like when players do transfer, you ask them, why are you transferring? Like, why are you leaving? And her response is just like, she wanted a place to push her. And like, that's exactly what we need, like that type of person. So obviously when she did come here, when she did start practicing with us, like she was just a great player, great addition, but also great for our culture. I mean, she embodies everything that we want in a Bulldog, and she's added to that and more. And it's been so great to have her here. And obviously being my age, we've definitely clicked too, just off the ice. She's one of my very close friends. And like I said, I wish she would have came earlier, but we're happy and thankful to have her now.
All right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more with Mannon McMahon. You're listening to the Bulldog Insider Podcast, brought to you by Essentia Health.
Greetings from Northlandia, a place to bring your curiosity, because here you will find curiosities. Whether it's a look inside the Northern Rail Train Car Inn, or an introduction to Duluth's musical roboticist, Robot Rickshaw, we celebrate the region's distinctive people, places, and history. Each week, I'm joined by my fellow reporters who share the unique and fascinating stories that they discover while exploring the Northland. You can find new episodes of the Northlandia podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Join us along this journey and discover the extraordinary stories that you just might miss if you're not in the right place at the right time, ready to step off the beaten path with no rush to return, here in Northlandia.
Hi, I'm Maria Lockwood, a reporter with the Superior Telegram. Explore Superior and Douglas County history with me on Archive Dive, a monthly podcast available at superiortelegram.com or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Welcome back to the Bulldog Insider Podcast, brought to you by Essentia Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. They're proud to be the team physicians for the UMD Bulldogs and provide sports medicine care to more than 25,000 student athletes in the community to ensure they can compete at the highest level, while protecting their long-term health and athletic futures. Thanks to Essentia Health for their support of the Bulldog Insider Podcast. I'm Matt Wellens, along with my co-host, Zach Schneider, and our guest this week, Mannon McMahon. Mannon, we're going to run through some memory lane questions here.
Oh, dear. I don't have good memory.
What's been your favorite on-ice moment so far in your 5 years as a Bulldog?
I would say when we beat Minnesota to go to the Frozen Four my junior year.
Junior year?
Yeah.
Okay, the win at Ritter there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to guess. This is why she hasn't been on the podcast, because I'm still bitter about...
You're going to be mean?
I'm bitter about this moment in UMD women's hockey history. Is your worst on-ice moment the uncalled trip in the defensive zone in OT of the 2021 Frozen Four in Erie, the loss to Northeastern? That was you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
At the time, I wanted to do an entire podcast on this because by headline, I basically led the story with Mannon got tripped down. You get taken down. I got mad just watching the clip again this week. Like, is that your worst on ice moment?
Yeah. You just opened that up again. I think I must have suppressed that. I was going to say,
it's like a can of worms just open.
Hashtag Mannon was tripped is what should have been trending. Is that
was directly before they got the
led
puck.
to the game-winning goal?
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. You should have been on the power play. You would have scored on the power play. You would have played Wisconsin for the national championship. And you guys were good against Wisconsin that year. You were highly competitive against Wisconsin that year. I'm sorry. Had you suppressed that moment after all these years?
I didn't remember until now.
What do you remember about that moment?
I don't even know. I think it was just like the emotions of losing, and then obviously like felt bad for turning the puck over. But yeah, that was a tough day for sure. Yeah,
but you turned the puck over. Like, did you know it was a bad no call at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was wanting a call.
I went back and I actually like pulled up the story, and Maura was very diplomatic when I asked her about the no call at the end. And by diplomatic, I mean she just like, I can't say anything because I don't want to get in trouble at the time. What's been your favorite? We'll go back to happy moments now. I had to vent on that one. Yeah, don't ever say that you turned the puck over in that moment. You were hauled down.
Yes.
Not exaggerating, hauled down, and Northeastern unjustly got the game-winning goal.
Yep.
What's been your favorite off-ice moment of your almost 5 years now at UMD?
Oh, wow. Appropriate off-ice moment.
Appropriate off-ice moment.
Oh, gosh. There's been so many. I think I just go back to obviously like those big games were so fun to play in, but everything that happens off the ice is just so cool. I think my mind is just going back to Penn State right now, but like getting the charter flight over and like all of us being like so excited and just like seeing our hard work pay off like in that way was just like so cool and inspiring, and just like embracing that with all of them, I think is one of the most special moments I've ever been a part of.
Is there a teacher or staff member at the university that's had an impact on you during your time at UMD?
Yeah, there's been quite a few. I definitely get some crap about being a teacher's pet type of student, but I like to have good relationships with all of my professors. The first one that comes to mind is Dr. Castleberry. He's our FAR, so faculty athletic representative, but he also is a professional sales teacher, which was one of my undergrad majors, so I had him for class. And yeah, he was just amazing. He made class so fun every single day. I got super close with him. Obviously, he is a very established professor. He's done so much in his time, just written books, done so many different things, and it's been so cool to learn from him. I got super close with him, went out to his farm this spring, spent some time with him and his wife. He got to show me and some other students around, but yeah, he's definitely had an impact on my career.
You really are a teacher's pet. He invited you to the farm?
I got dinner. I was at his house. Yeah, it was great.
Wait, what's all at his farm? Like, does he have horses? Has Ashton been there to ride horses?
He used to have just about everything. Him and his family of like 9 kids were completely sustainable, eating off their farm.
Nice.
Yeah. I could talk about Dr. Castleberry all day, as my team knows.
And to his credit, he is at a lot of the games.
Yes.
Maybe not everyone, but at a lot of the games at home, he is in attendance.
Yeah, and I've run into him on numerous flights on the road as well and such like that. Seen him a lot traveling over the years. He's definitely passionate about the Bulldogs. And you're not the first one that's brought him up both on the men's and women's team of the impact he's made.
She's the first one that went to the farm.
First one that's mentioned she's made it to the farm. Yeah, no one else has mentioned
He
to
said
the
that
farm.
the last women's hockey player that went to the farm was Jennifer Harse.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a bit back.
That's going back.
Yeah.
That's going back. Yeah. So what degrees are you leaving UMD with in your time here? Again, you get this 5th year, you get to take advantage of some great academic opportunities.
For sure. Yeah. I graduated last spring with a undergrad degree in professional sales and finance, and I am currently enrolled in the MBA program, and I will be leaving here with a master's in business administration as well.
So what are your plans for next year? Is it to play in the PWHL? Have you thought that far ahead yet?
Yes, that is the plan, hopefully, if all goes according to it.
If not, you got an MBA to fall back on.
Yes.
Would you consider like going to and playing in Europe like a lot of classmates of yours have done, if that's a possibility or something like that?
Yeah, I would consider it. I definitely want to go the PWHL route, though.
Yeah.
Has life changed in women's hockey for people that are graduating college where you need, at this point, an advisor, which might become an agent, or do you handle that all yourself now with the PWHL and all the extra options?
Yeah, I think you can go either route, whether you want an agent or whether you just want to kind of figure it out yourself. But yeah, definitely is a lot of questions that have come to my mind and just things that if you would have told me like when I was a freshman that when I would be leaving, like I'd be wondering if I was going to have an agent, I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, that's crazy. Yeah. So even the fact that like that is something that you have to think about is pretty cool.
You get an MBA, you can negotiate.
Yeah,
yourself.
I think I can.
Take on a few teammates as well and negotiate.
I love it. Open my own business.
Have you, like, I know last year at the end of last season, a lot of your teammates, Coach Kroll had mentioned she had pushed, like, with the state of women's hockey where it was at the time, it was like, go get an agent to help you navigate this. Have you started looking into that yet? Like, or is it still kind of an unknown process here with the PWHL of where you go from here when everything's done?
Yeah, I think it's still pretty unknown. Like I said, there's kind of either route. Yeah, it's definitely a bit crazy, and just like the timing of it all too. Like, obviously, I'm gonna be where my feet are too, and like we're about to enter playoffs, so like that's my first priority. But definitely something that's in the back of my mind.
All right, some quick hits as we got a little bit of time left here. We're gonna run longer with Mannon since I didn't let her on after all these years.
Appreciate it.
Suppressing that memory from Erie. After traveling out there for that. I wanted to stay till Saturday for the national championship.
I did too.
Where should the next PWHL expansion team be?
Chicago.
Chicago?
Yeah.
You want think the league should put a team there right away.
I
huh?
do. Yes.
Do you have a preference at all of like where you'd play next season?
No, I would just like to play.
You just like to play.
Sounds like she wants to play in Chicago.
I'd like to play in
That
Chicago.
answer was immediate.
I thought about that before, so it was ready.
What's your favorite road arena in the WCHA?
Oh, I'm gonna have to go LeBon.
LeBon?
I'm gonna have to go LeBon. Yeah.
What's your favorite road trip in the WCHA, like not factoring in the arena?
Probably Ritter, Minneapolis.
Minneapolis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just super close to home, so a bunch
Yep.
of family gets to come.
The WCHA currently has interim commissioner, interim communications director. The director of officiating is going to retire, I think, one of these years. Can you give us a current or former teammate to fill each of those roles in the league office? Who would be best suited for it? Let's start with commissioner. Which one?
Okay.
You have the MBA. Maybe you're the next commissioner.
I'm
of
gonna
the
hire
league.
myself.
You're gonna hire yourself
I'll
to
be
run
the
the league?
commissioner.
Okay.
What other roles?
So who are you hiring then as your director of communications?
I'm gonna hire Clara Van Wieren.
Clara Van Wieren?
Yep.
Okay. She's done a lot of stuff with the diversity and equity and inclusion committee.
She's
and
gonna be
SAC.
great for that.
She's gonna be great for that. Who's your director of officiating?
Oh, I'm gonna have to go Mary Kate O'Brien.
MK. Okay.
MK loves the rules and regulations.
Someone else said that earlier this year.
Or was it during a Wednesday press conference? Or maybe it was on the podcast.
Yeah, someone
That she would be a good. She'd be a good referee too.
Yep.
She's your rules are.
Yes,
All right.
she probably doesn't need much training in that department, so she'll be ready to
would've
go.
She would have called that trip in Erie.
Yes.
Current or former teammate who would make a good coach in the future?
Oh, that's a tough one. There's a lot. I think Ashton Bell would make a great coach.
Ashton? Okay.
Yes, I think that she would develop the player and the person.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go. What's been your favorite restaurant in Duluth?
Oh, there's a lot. Recently it's been Lyric.
Lyric?
Yes.
Okay.
Go there with my parents a lot.
Our producer Wyatt is also recommending that one. I have kids. I don't get to restaurants anymore. Your favorite place in the Duluth area to get away from everything, whether it be hockey or school?
This is very specific, but there's a spot along the Lake Superior shore where there's like just rocks and stuff. In the summer, it's great. Like that's where we always go swimming. In the fall, we also go there. Like good place to watch sunsets, sunrises. It's awesome.
And our final question is for a very loyal listener on the podcast who claims we begged her earlier this season.
You said something mean.
She said we begged
All
her.
right. Well, I don't think I should get blamed for that.
Can you give us your favorite Laura Bellamy story from your
wow.
years?
Wow.
Years?
There's a lot. Is she listening? Do you think?
She's an avid listener of
She
this
is?
podcast. Yeah.
Okay.
We've been
Lou.
giving Coach Kroll grief that Lou's more caught up on the podcast that she is recently. So now Maura's gonna get on me for bagging on her on the podcast.
We said
as well.
Maura sees you every day, so
Yeah.
Lou just misses everyone. I think
This is how she catches
Yeah, this
up.
is her connection to Duluth. Still,
Yeah.
so.
Okay. Oh my gosh, there's so many. I feel like I've known her for so long now. She was like the person who recruited me here. There's so many great stories of Lou. This is so hard, but the first one that comes to mind is a video session that she did, and she called out a player, and it was just hilarious. Do you want me to give details?
Maybe without saying the player's name, or will that be too obvious?
I don't think she would care.
Don't make anyone feel bad.
It's a former teammate, Maggie Flaherty.
That like immediately I'm thinking in my head, bet you this is a Maggie Flaherty story.
It is. And it still gets brought up to this day. We were actually like just talking about it the other week. But Maggie, it was like, I wasn't even here yet, but it was one of her first college hockey games, and I think she just like got dangled by someone, and it was like the highlight of the film session, and it was just like replayed multiple times and was brought up for 6 years now. But yeah, that's
Yeah, you didn't even name the player. I'm sure loyal listeners of this podcast were like, I bet you this is a Maggie Flaherty story.
Lou definitely knew from the moment I said video session that it was that one.
Her career turned out all right, so
that
video session is in the
yes,
video.
exactly. And we all learn from video, and Lou was great at video. So
Mannon, thank you so much for finally coming on the podcast.
Thank you for finally having me.
And if you make a deep tournament run, we'll get you back on here as well, maybe.
Okay, see you soon then.
Bulldog Insider Podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Like us, subscribe, and rate us. For more Bulldogs hockey coverage, visit DuluthNewsTribune.com/Bulldog Insider. Subscribe to gain access to all of our coverage all season long. Zach, what's the TV coverage look like this weekend? A little complicated, I think.
It is a little complicated. The women, we'll start with that series. No TV on Friday for the opener. We've got the finale at senior day on Saturday against St. Cloud State. Hopefully you've already wrapped up home ice by the time we're on the air on Saturday. You can do that with a win on Friday. So we got the Saturday game only for the women. And then the men are on CBS Sports Network for their opener on Friday against Denver. That's an hour later at 8.
It's an 8 o'clock start on
Have fun
Saturday
with that, Matt.
night.
I'll be at home. I'm hoping to make it through the game. Maybe I'll get a nap in, but...
I was going to say, it's going to be harder for you to stay awake for that game than me. I'm at the rink.
So the 8 o'clock on CBS Sports Network on Friday, and then we're back on Saturday at 7 o'clock against Denver.
Thanks to our sponsor, Essentia Health, for their continued support of the Bulldog Insider Podcast, and thanks to all of you for listening. We'll catch you next week.